On this episode of the Layover Live, Evan Trevers from Google stops by to talk travel's path moving forward. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 124 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, and before I introduce my special guest today, I want to talk about our article of the week, which comes from FocusWire. It has to do with, as we start to think about recovery and start to talk about where things are moving and our path forward, how it's going to be more of a long game. And so to do that today, it is without a doubt that we in the travel are going to be more cautious, holding safety and our well-being in the highest regard as we start to move things forward. One of the key questions that needs to be answered for any destination marketer out there then is, what does the path forward look like? Now, there have been a ton of opinions on this out there, and there's no really one-size-fits-all approach to this. And I think it's a good idea, in my opinion, that I think that we listen to many different ideas on this, many different opinions, and then pick one that really best fits your destination and what you do. Now, I've got a very special guest on the show today to help us talk about that path moving forward, our friend Evan Trevers with Google. Evan is our agency development manager, and he really leads the relationship between us here at Simpleview and Google, and has been a great resource for us on this. So I wanted to bring him forward to you guys to talk about this as well. Evan has a wealth of experience in programmatic media, including search and display and video. So I'm excited to have him on when he accepted our invitation to come and share his point of view as we discuss this path moving forward for the industry. So one of the biggest questions that we get asked oftentimes is what a big opportunity is. But before we get into that, Evan, I wanted to welcome you to the show. So welcome.
Thanks so much, Jason. Pleasure to be here. I'm excited to have an opportunity to put on a dress shirt. I may or may not be wearing pajama bottoms underneath, but yeah, thank you. I've become a big fan of the Layover series in the past few weeks, so excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you as well, man. I know you have helped us out tremendously, you and the team there at Google with insights, helped to validate some of the directions that we're going in. And so I think it's wonderful to have you on the show, and I really appreciate it. So again, I think one of the biggest questions that we get asked is what's next, right? So what is the biggest opportunity you see for destination marketers for what's next out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you put it best. There is no, single answer here. But the crux of this crisis is a fundamental shift in consumer behavior. This is not a financial market adjustment like in 2008. It's unclear which consumer behaviors will or won't shift back. And it goes without saying, the path forward is paved with uncertainty. We've moved past the need for urgent reactions. Now is about solving for the new normal. And to succeed through the crisis, it's less about making perfect predictions for what the future holds, but rather being ready for whatever the future throws at you. So you're asking, what is the biggest opportunity that I see today? It's to understand the changes in your customer behaviors, but most importantly, understand the changes that will likely stick around. Focus on listening to your customers, capturing demand in real time, and future-proofing your business, which is easier said than done. But to lay this out, I see three important steps to take. The first is to take action now to recognize the sudden behavioral shifts that are happening in the travel industry. Second is to monitor leading indicators across the industry to track travel demand as it continues to evolve. And third, take every step you can possibly take to accelerate the digital transformation of your business.
Yeah, I love that, Evan. I love that kind of three-step approach, right, to get into it. So let's just dive right into the first one, which is to take action early. So will you expand on that one for us?
Yeah. So first is just recognizing these changing demands. This is going to allow you to lay the foundation for a strong recovery. To understand what consumer behaviors may stick, it's helpful to understand the types of shifts that we're seeing from a search point of view, which is my focus area. We're seeing three distinct shifts in demand. These are shocks, step changes, and what we're calling speed up shifts. Shocks are those sudden changes in behavior, changes that are unlikely to sustain. For example, in early March, we saw searches related to travel cancellations spike suddenly, to no surprise. But Brands like Delta, Royal Caribbean, they're good examples of companies who were quick to respond to these type of shocks, and they made it easy for travelers to cancel their trips and waive cancellation fees. I recognize not every business has the luxury to be able to do that, but that's just a good example of them acting quickly to a shock type of shift in trends. And we don't expect this type of shock behavior to continue. We do expect there to be more shocks throughout our recovery. The second type here is a step change. These are sudden changes in behavior that might sustain. One example being virtual or searches for virtual tours. While people can't travel, they're still looking, they're looking for alternative ways to explore and learn about the world. We can't expect, these step changes to continue, we can expect these step changes to continue at least for the next several months. And the third one here is what I call the speed up trend. This is an acceleration of an existing behavior that is likely to sustain longer term. For how long, we don't know, but certainly longer than just kind of the immediate present, the next few months. That's our prediction. And examples of this. The decline of business travel and the simultaneous acceleration of searches related to remote work and staycations will have big implications for the travel industry. Brands like Hyatt Hotels, they're offering rooms as office spaces, and Airbnb is pivoting to, focus on longer term stays.
Yeah, really, really good information. I was thinking about, there you're talking about these different step changes, talking about virtual tours, some of that stuff, which many of our destination marketers are doing out there, which leads us into like step 2, which I'm thinking about, which is, okay, we're thinking about virtual tours and making these moves to recovery. And we're looking at all kinds of different leading indicators that are out there. We've talked on past episodes about indicators around looking at organic search traffic, because that helps to show people's intent. We've talked about looking at positive sentiment moving in certain directions. And there's a ton out there, right? So what is one maybe indicator that you would recommend?
Yeah, I cannot speak highly enough about Google Trends. And it might sound simple. Most marketers are well aware of this tool. I know I was aware of this well before my time here at Google, but this is the time to shine for a tool like this to help our customers monitor the behavioral changes that are happening before our eyes. For example, if I plug in beach rentals, searches across Google for this keyword are up dramatically here in June. In fact, we're seeing more demand for beach rentals today than we've seen in the last 5 years. We can also monitor when consumers are just dreaming about travel versus actually wanting to make concrete plans. I know I can put myself in that bucket for sure. If we compare February and April of this year, travel searches that include dates dropped by 10% in just those 2 months. So it's this type of analysis, that can be a leading indicator for a rebound.
Yeah, really, really good stuff there. I like that Google Trends. We, early on recognized that as well, right? We had a blog post we wrote about it. We were passing some information around Google Trends, but that is an excellent one to keep an eye on, because it shows what's happening in the space at any given time, and something that may have been hot yesterday may not be hot tomorrow. So it's an excellent resource. I'm glad you mentioned that one. So third, and then the final step, is to accelerate that digital transformation. So let's unpack that and expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, and this one's so much tougher for many businesses, especially some of the DMOs. But this is about building long-term business resilience. And when I say digital transformation, what I really mean here is take full advantage of digital technology when you can. And I recognize, again, this is so much easier said than done. But we know that many still want to travel, but the wants of your customers might be changing. Our customer surveys here at Google are finding that more than anything, travelers want discounts, of course, but they also want enhanced hospital-grade cleaning. We're seeing hotels, announcing self-cleaning rooms and using germ-fighting robots in their lobbies. Airlines are using technology, advances to identify at-risk passengers and limit human-to-human contact in airports. And we talked about the shifting demand for virtual tours. Many tourism boards are now offering, digital tours of monuments, museums, you name it. Even, again, Airbnb has adapted by offering online experiences to keep their customers close. So, what does this mean for everybody listening here? As you start to think about future-proofing your business, think about what it is that your customers want you to be prioritizing and whether you can pivot some of your content online to continue driving brand awareness and engagement.
Yeah, great stuff here, and this is very, very good insights, Evan. So I appreciate you sharing that 3-step approach. So one thing I want to ask, and we ask this, really of really all of our guests as of late, because I think it helps to get these tidbits or these different perspectives on things. So what particular advice do you have maybe then for destination marketers out there, if you could leave them with just one thing?
Okay, to leave you with one thing, especially for marketers in the travel space, my advice here is to embrace automation whenever it's possible. Just early this month, early here in June, Search Engine Land shared an article about what they learned about automated bidding during COVID. And to summarize that article, we cannot shy away from real-time optimizations during times of volatility. And if I remove my Google hat, speaking on behalf of the entire ad tech industry, we've made some great advancements to dynamically adjust not only the spending in our ad campaigns, but also adjusting the messaging in our ads to make sure that they are as relevant as ever. The power of automation is so important to understand and also to accept. And of course, I can't leave here without giving a quick shout out to Simpleview for really leaning into this area and really kind of pushing the boundaries of automation.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for recognizing that. I think you're spot on with that. I think that's really, really good advice from a technology standpoint to lean on that. When you think about this being such a volatile space with ever-changing behaviors, it seems like on a daily basis, right? Things are going up and down and some people are willing to travel and then cases go up. It's a crazy space. Technology can help tremendously with that, and to be able to optimize. You would think of the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Leverage those tools out there, folks, because I tell you what, they're the ways to be able to optimize and look at these different intent signals that it would be almost next to impossible to do on a daily basis unless you were keeping an eye on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And none of us have time for that now with the 10 different hats that we're wearing, with furloughs that have happened and layoffs that are in the travel space, which has been hit harder than pretty much any other industry. Using that power of technology and leveraging that technology to work in your favor at this time is a smart thing to do. So great advice there. Evan, thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate you sharing your insights.
Yeah, I know it was short and sweet, but yeah, thanks so much, Jason. Happy to be here. And going back to the automation piece, if we want to ever get deeper and go deeper on kind of machine learning, how it works, and really, what this can solve for us, I would love to join you back here.
Yeah, it might be another episode we follow up on as we move things forward. So thank you. And thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed, please do so now. You can do that by smashing the button below. Otherwise, we're also available on Spotify and iTunes if you'd like to consume us through podcasts. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and have a great day, everyone.